I am now creating weekly exclusive content for Patreon, so if you are interested in that, go check out the link down below. And of course, if you want to avoid the random lottery of FIFA points, you want to go straight to the source, buy the players directly, use u7buy.com and use the code TVM at checkout. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to another player review, going through these thick and fast. Now I'm going to start getting into the community team of the season, starting off with Sergio Busquets, 93 rated. I've put a shadow on him, and there is a theory behind it as well as a purpose. So initially it was, oh my god, this card is going to be so slow, we need to try and boost the pace as much as possible. The only realistic way to do that is to give him a shadow, because that is, I mean, 61 acceleration, 66 sprint speed is atrocious. Even with a shadow, he only goes to 76. So I felt like it was the only real thing to do. Turns him into a 97 rated CDM, which is very impressive stuff. Of course, you can get him to a 98 if you give him a Sentinel. I think there's maybe one other that we could get him to a 98 with. Maybe not, actually, looking at it. 97 seems to be the highest. But yeah, with a Sentinel, with a Sentinel it goes to 98, which is pretty impressive. But do we really need that plus 10 strength and jumping? In my opinion, no. So we're going to go with a shadow. The other reason for this is I come up against a fair few teams that only use Hunter and Shadow chem styles, and I've seen it from right at the beginning, or thereabouts of this FIFA. I was watching a pro, Alexander I think his name is, on Twitch, and he only ever used Shadows and Hunters on his cards, and I couldn't understand why. And you did mention it at some point that they're just the best ones, you have to use those. And he's a pro, and he like actually plays in events, finishes top 100 and what have you. I think he went, I don't know what his record was and what it is now, but he went hundreds and hundreds of games without even a defeat in draft in the first few weeks of FIFA. So you know, he knows what he's talking about. But I've never really tested it because they were extinct and then they upped the price of them. And it's like, what, 15, 20k for a shadow? It might even be more now. I don't know. I've not looked. This was just one in the club. So I reckon shadows and hunters do a little bit more than what they let on. And it sounds ridiculous. Can't be true, surely. Well, when we get into the gameplay with Busquets, I'll talk a little bit more about what I feel the shadow has done. Because if we go through the stats without the shadow, you've got 61 acceleration, 66 sprint speed, very good attack position in 93, with 81 finishing, which is quite decent. He actually does score a goal, as you would have seen at the very beginning. There's a stat there that says he scores a goal. 99 short passing, 99 vision. That is just the best passing you can get. That is top draw stuff. 96 long passing in there as well. Excellent dribbling. Composure 99, dribbling 91, 99 ball control, 99 reactions. That's insane. But 56 balance and 76 agility. He's 6'2" as well. So theoretically, with 61 pace, 66 sprint speed, he's going, or acceleration and sprint speed, he's going to feel unbelievably slow. Surely he's going to feel really slow. That's why we had to put the shadow. Turning from left to right is going to be really slow. His drag backs are going to be unbelievably slow. I had to give him a shadow to give him any degree of pace, but that doesn't affect the agility or the balance or the fact that he's 6'2". He's only got 3-star as well, which is a little bit annoying. Of course, as a CDM, it's not that big a deal because, you know, you've got the likes of Kante and what have you. I'll always compare CDMs to Kante because, in my opinion, he is the best one in FIFA. He's my favourite card in FIFA nonetheless. So I'm always going to compare CDMs to Kante, even though Kante and Busquets couldn't be further from comparison. But the one thing that we'll touch upon, and we'll have to talk about it quite extensively because I don't really know why and how this has happened, but Busquets isn't slow. He's not like a bus. It doesn't take him an hour to turn around. And he feels not very, but relatively agile. And I just can't explain it. I have absolutely no explanation realistically for it. I mean, I've got a speculative answer, but I'm not sure if I'm going to come across as an idiot or whether this is known common knowledge and I just don't know about it. But I'm going to ask the question. I think this is the goal that he scores actually. Does well here to hold up the ball. It'll drag back. Look at that. Just really quick feet. Ball's played back to him. And of course he's going to use that 81 finishing to slot that home. That was the only intentional run that I made with Busquets. He's got medium work rates, which is not ideal. In a perfect world, he has a high defensive, and we just tell him to stay back. To be fair, he was dropped between the two defenders, and he was very strong, very capable, but mobile. That's what I don't get. Extremely agile. Not the most agile of players I've ever used, and he wasn't like, like Neymar on the ball or anything. His drag backs weren't that snappy, but they were of someone who has mid 80s agility, maybe even low 80s balance with, I would say, maybe 85 sprint speed. That's what he kind of feels like, that type of player, which doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, because he has mid 50s balance, mid 60s agility, and now even with a shadow chem style, mid 70s for pace. It doesn't make any sense at all. And yet here I am coming up against teams like this with not a great side. I won't lie to you. My team is okay, right? But we are using players that are well behind the curve in certain areas. Now, my CDM is arguably one of the best in the game. Busquets, team of the season. But we're up against Pele. We're up against Hullet. We're up against some really, really good high-rated icon cards. And an opponent who knows his players. He knows how to use them. He knew what to do, when to do it. But Busquets is that good that he can break down and play forward. Now, I've got icons on my own. I've got Mbappe. I'm not playing with bronzes or anything. I do have a decent team. But, in certain areas like Odegaard, for example, he's 87 rated. He's decent, but he's not Pele. He's not Hullet. And he's not that, my opponent there. He did beat me 2-1, to be fair, because, he's just slightly better on the day. I did feel a little bit hard done by, though. I had a couple of chances that I really thought should have gone in, and somehow they just didn't go in. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but hey, we lost, and it is what it is. But out of the 5 games that I played, we won 5 of them, and we were just defensively sound throughout, and it was not all down to Busquets breaking down the attack, but I owe an awful lot to him for those performances, for those wins. Knocked out the first owner La Liga objective within 5 games, which is not something too easy to do, because you are coming up against some really good teams these days. But Busquets was definitely a big part of it, breaking down an awful lot of the attacks coming forward. He's not without his faults. He does hit the post there, actually, and I didn't tell him to get forward. He sort of just wandered forward in the attack. I wasn't too displeased with it, because he does have 91 stamina, very capable of running all the way back and defending very well. As you can see there, his interceptions are second to none. Like I said, though, not without his faults. I definitely would pick up on the weak foot as being a negative. It's nice to have 99 passing, 99 vision, long passing to boot and all the rest of it. But if you can't use either foot, and you have to decide or remember which side that he's on, and you have to try and weigh up whether playing it with a weak foot is going to be worth the risk of not being that accurate, it's irritating, sure, but it's not the end of the world. And of course, the natural speed, if you don't have the shadow to put on him, I mean, if you can afford a team of the season Sergio Busquets card, you can afford to go out and add a shadow to him, I'm sure. If not, you can save up for it. It's not like going to break your bank or anything. But I think without the shadow, or even with the shadow, he does lack a little bit of zip. Like, it would be really nice if he had an extra 10, for example. Just 10 sprint speed or 10 acceleration, either one. I'm not really bothered. And then the shadow on top of that, we'd be looking at a very, very good, capable, not quick, but relatively nippy card. And I would, I'd be much happier having that added pace boost in my review. I would even go as far as to say that he is the best CDM in the game. He's not far off, and he's very underrated. I know a lot of people are going to turn their nose up at it. Oh, he's too slow. I don't like him because of this, that, and the other. But honestly, with a shadow on him, and I don't know whether this has got anything to do with it whatsoever, but with a shadow on him, he does feel agile. He does feel a little bit quick. He's not slow. And that was honestly my biggest concern going into it, that he was just going to feel like an anchor. And playing him as a CDM, you don't often have to have agility. Having the ability to sort of jockey quickly is nice, but it's not essential if you just tell him to stay back while attacking, drop between the defenders and so on. But it was almost a breath of fresh air, really, from some of the team of the season cards I've used over the last couple of days. This guy didn't have an awful lot of fault, and I was very surprised because I didn't expect him to be as good as he is. So there we go. If you If you agree or disagree, then feel free to let me know in the comments. But in all honesty, I think he was one of the best CDMs I've used this FIFA. And I've used my fair share, you know. But I did like him. Let me know what you think of the review in the comments section down below. If you have enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index. The game changed. Download the app now.